You know, I recently remembered a video by Katy Perry after she had had all her success. She did this interview where she was in deep regret of having sold her soul. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I've got also a story just to kind of like remind of the importance of this particular subject. It's the Reality Show with the Daily Christian Commentary videos. Why should a person who's even thinking closely to that idea of maybe selling your soul or giving up the good values that you have to whatever the world might be offering you out there, why is it not a good idea to do so? This is the small little clip from Katy Perry's entire.
I so badly want to be Catherine Hudson that I don't even want to look like Katy Perry anymore sometimes.
Okay.
And like that is a little bit of why I cut my hair, is because I really want to be my authentic self.
Yeah.
It's hard, like I say, get on tour.
Okay.
And it's hard because I'm ashamed.
Oh.
Reality Show with the Daily Christian Commentary videos. If it's the first time over here, do give this video a like. It does help it out in the algorithm. And also do leave me your thoughts down in the comment section, a verse or something that might tell that other person that might be thinking about doing something like this. I also recently saw an interview. I think the interview is from Kenya or so, where a pastor apparently has sold his soul. Might review that on a later on episode, but I thought today let's talk about this subject from Katy Perry. Now, when Katy Perry came out, there was a video when we spoke about Kanye West supposedly exposing the music industry. We spoke about this thing of Kanye coming out and saying that everybody has sold his soul, but he hasn't told us anything about himself. And I made a reference to Katy Perry's story, where she had openly said that,
I released a gospel record when I was 15 because I grew up in a household where all I ever did was listen to gospel music, and my parents are both traveling ministers, and so I kind of sang about what was going on in my life at 15, and that's how I got introduced to the music industry. I swear I wanted to be like the Amy Grant of music, but it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil. Sold my soul to the devil.
When she was Catherine Hudson, whatever her name, her gospel musician name, she had freedom, but she didn't like not having the success. And so she said she sold her soul to the devil. And after that, that's when the success came up. And so this kind of reminded me of that particular subject, to say a lot of people sometimes they want the success, but they don't realize that the success has so much that it will cost them, that they will lose themselves in it. It's like raising a child. When you're looking at this child, you keep consistently looking at them and you're saying, there's this future that I hope they would be able to see, a future that I hope that they would strive to look forward to, instead of selling themselves short when they are still here. You're kind of protecting the child. You see, having a child is that hint to say, I wish they would not make these mistakes here, and they would see the value there, right? Remember that girl that we spoke about, that she was in matric at what age? Yeah, congratulations, she apparently passed. Everybody was celebrating her, right? But if she had not seen the goal of going through that challenge, that celebration doesn't come. But sometimes people get hung up on this present to a point where they can't see the next. So when a person is selling their soul, they only see the present need. If I only had 100,000, that's all they can think about. When they now have it, they don't think about what then. But because they don't have it, they don't even want to think about that. That's why if you approach a person like that and you're like, yeah, but when you have money, then what? They're like, hey, Baba, we'll see when we get there, right? It's dismissive. It's childish. It thinks very low of itself to a point where that becomes acceptable. But the unfortunate part about that life of seeking that is that just like advising a child, they don't see the next 5 minutes. They see the present decision to do this. You can remember when you were in primary or in secondary, whenever you started doing datings. You can remember what the first time your parents would stop you from that. Why? They knew the dangers of doing that would consume your heart. God forbid you have a heartbreak at that age. It might wound you for a very long time. They're trying to protect you from all of that. A celebrity status has cost her so much that she wishes to just be the old her. And she can't. Why? Because having taken everything from the devil, he doesn't give anything back. You see, the devil giving someone fame, it's a double-edged sword, because you can never have not only your privacy, you can never have a life outside of that. Right? And after they have that, after they have the celebrity lifestyle, after they have, nobody can relate to them as an individual outside of the celebrity. They are only known for the celebrity. And they lose their individual. You miss just an average thing like walking out of the building where you stay to going to the store just to buy an ice cream. Where you could be petty like that. You could be petty with, oh no, I feel like eating something like this, and you just go over and walk over to things. She can't do that. She's lost that freedom. But now she is crammed up to a point where she regrets the decision, having sold out, and wishes she had never done that. Now, the Bible, how does the Bible actually put this particular subject? It says, what shall it benefit a man if he gains the entire world, right, but lose his own soul? And so the benefit that it's talking about there, gaining the world or gaining whatever the world has to offer, but lose his soul, there is that self aspect in there. You lose the things that you are most interested. You lose. Right now, I can just get up and go to Gold Reef City. I don't have to ask anybody, nothing. But them, they have so much schedules. They have managers. They have a business deals that they have signed up for. It was interesting when they were still getting the money at first, but now they've signed these deals that last for so long that they just have to stay in one area. They can't even travel as they thought they might be able to. And so it steals away the individual aspects, the individual's aspect of life. What is the danger of having fame as a pastor? Is that you start thinking that everybody approves everything. You start thinking everybody approves everything. So when people eventually start disagreeing, you don't know why they are disagreeing, because everybody's been agreeing with you. You come into this pen where Katy Perry is in, where the regret is not worth whatever the reward she might have perceived in the beginning. So when you warn people sometimes to say, you know what, be careful of such and such. I remember seeing a story on TikTok of a guy who supposedly is himself saying that he sold his soul to get a certain amount of money, but he has a very short, limited amount of time to live. Now, whether it be true or fake, the fact that he would attach himself to money rituals and have to fake that says a lot about you. Even if he didn't sell his soul, the fact that he's willing to fake that, it says a lot about the person. It sounds interesting when the person is young. I saw another particular celebrity, very popular, I think over the last 3 months. She's been doing all the wild things. She even did a birthday party where her cake is designed like a Freemason, whatnot, and all that kind of stuff. She's just buying into all the ideas of the conspiracy theories and all that kind of stuff. So, but what's the fascination with these type of things? Now, my bad if you can hear that noise. I think the generator is broken downstairs. They're trying to fix it. Load shedding is in a couple of minutes. And so I've tried waiting for them. They keep doing that every 15 minutes or so. So when people are still young, they see a very high interest in money. When they don't have it, they see this huge interest. But once they lose not only their soul, once they lose the things that they were most easily interested in that they now can't engage with, now they start to have questions for what they've prized. What's the value of what I had highly prized like this? I had seen this life as the thing to go after. Now I have it and I can't even take pride in it. So having lost that, only then it makes them remember. One of my favorite TV series, The Twilight Zone, a 1950s TV show, black and white and all that. There is a story that they tell in there of a man who hated being sick. He hated how humanity's life is so short. He wanted a long life. And the devil comes to him and sells him that and says, you give me your soul, I give you that. And he accepts the deal. But in so short a period of life, before in a matter of years, it wasn't even more than 10 years, he was already bored. He was already bored with having immortality. He was now bored. He wanted the aspect of danger, but it didn't faze him that now he could present himself to danger. It would not even be thrilling. And he wanted to just do away. He wanted the most dangerous thing. And so he started doing all kinds of things. So having sold himself, he then realizes the emptiness. And so the story that I'm talking about here, that people that want to sell themselves, whether be from the direction of Ubungoma, because we've talked about that the idea of wealth from spiritual healers, it's a form of selling your soul to the devil. When we spoke about that and all these other things, these are all the same. It sounds different because one is talking about millions, one might be talking about billions or whatever. It doesn't matter. All is money. It's all money. It's all digits. Once the digits enters your account, once you've got all 20 cars that you want, once you've bought all the mansions that you want, once you have a first home, second home, and a holiday home, once you have a house over here and a house over there and a house in the hills, once you've done all of that, once you've traveled to a point where you got bored, now to a person who doesn't have money, that sounds like, how would I get bored of traveling? It can get boring if that is all you've done. You've heard people, I remember a South African YouTuber, his job is traveling. He travels like in South Africa and so forth. He's tired. He was talking about how it's just so tiring that he doesn't wake up in the same bed. And for somebody that sounds interesting, but to him it's become boring. You know, he flies so much that he's now tired. He doesn't want to anymore. But for a person who doesn't have it, and you see, that's what God protects us from that interaction with desires that only lead us into that danger. Desires that only trap us or seek to trap us in the wrong. So God seeks to protect us from that. But unfortunately, because the human heart does what the human heart, many people fall into that trap. And that's why I wanted to talk about this. Sometimes thinking the next 5 minutes does help. Thinking of the next 5 minutes, it does help, because that's the difference between when you have and when you don't. But a person who is so fixated on the present, a person who's seeking a miracle, exposes themselves to charlatans. A person who's seeking financial breakthrough, they expose themselves to the scammers and all this kind of stuff. So what does that do? Because they isn't thinking for the next 5 minutes. What happens? Boom, I'm going all in. They only regret once they are there. Sometimes it helps just listening. Sometimes it helps just having the rule that says don't do this. When you hear the Bible say, what does it benefit you? You know, it's easy to dismiss it without thinking God knows what comes after that. God knows that I'm never gonna be fully satisfied. As a human being, I'm always going to want something. But then because in that heat of the moment when I'm seeking that thing, it is all that matters. It is all that is. So as a result, I'm going to expose myself to whatever. And the danger then comes. She can't go back. You know, yes, she might be able to come back to God and repent and have a restored relationship with God. But there are things that are stolen from her, the consequences. There are things that are stolen from her that she will never have. There is the individual aspect of life. Her having an individual life, like just, she can never have that. She can't even ask for that. Why? Those are some of the things, those are the consequences of some of the decisions that people take, but they don't think about that when they're in it. Sometimes it helps just thinking for the next 5 minutes.